right, talking with Chuck Wicks right now. Hey, man.
What's up?
It's interesting to get you on because, and we're going to get back around in a second to what's happening with you in your career in just a little bit. But I was looking over notes, as I often do. I didn't know that you had done you did 4 Ironmans. Is that right?
Yeah, well, let me clarify because the people that do full Ironmans will have my head for it. I am a 70.3 guy, so I've done 4 half Ironmans. I am not I'm not full crazy, as they say. I'm just half crazy. So, but yes, I love doing triathlons. I started doing it maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and I grew up an athlete, went to college to play baseball, and I needed something to fill that competitive edge. So triathlons it was.
Why not? And I say this as someone, I've done a couple Olympic triathlons, which aren't quite what you've done in the Ironman, but why not go ahead and hit the full Ironman?
Honestly, I want to do one full Ironman, but I also want to still have my body left as I get older. So, I mean, the training, it's all about the training. If it takes so much time to train for half, to train for a full would be it's almost like a career move.
I'm just saying you'd probably be happy with yourself if you got one. You got one in. That's all, just one.
I can get one. I'm going to get one in I'll get one in before I'm 45. How about that?
Are you shredded?
Right now?
Yeah.
No. I have no. Now when I'm training full bore, I'll go into a race at 168. I'll weigh about 168 and then I'll be shredded. Like race day, I'm shredded. But right now I'm about 191, if that gives you an idea of
How tall are you?
6'2", 6'2 3/4, Bobby.
You're that much taller than me because I'm a little over 6 foot, but I didn't know that you were demanding height when you stood next to me. I didn't know I needed to recognize who was my superior in height. Dang.
I don't know. 2 inches is not demanding or superior. I mean, now if I'm 6'5", if I'm going like Charles Kelly height or Trace Atkins height, that's a different story.
Well, Chuck and I have been buds for a couple years. Chuck, your radio career started back with Blair. Is that right? Back 5-6 years ago? Tell me how that started.
Yeah, I moved to Nashville. I played baseball down at Florida Southern College, and that's when I picked up a guitar and started, I was like, oh, okay, I want to be a recording artist. This is what I want to do. This is what I was meant to do.
Well, hold on. We're going to get to the recording artist stuff in a minute. I'm just talking because I think a lot of people know you as Chuck Wicks, the guy with the songs. But I'm curious about when you got into radio first.
Okay, so talking on the radio, I got into that about 6 years ago. And Blair Garner did ask me to be a part of it. I remember because I knew Blair from being on a show as an artist. And he was like, hey, I'm working on this new show. Do you want to be on it? And I'm like, well, what is it? And I had I had lost my record deal. I had lost my publishing deal. And I'm like, what am I doing? What am I going to do? Because I wasn't getting another record deal anytime soon. I didn't know if it was going to happen. I was like, you know what? Maybe this is my new path. And I said, yeah, let's do it. So it was Blair Garner, myself, Terry Clark, who we love, great 90s Y2K artist. Leanne Womack started with us. Sonny Sweeney. It was like Blair Garner and a bunch of artists. And I jumped in and ended up loving it. I had no idea.
I remember when you guys, because that show went on and we went on. I think we might have been on a month ahead. I mean, because there was really no ahead because both shows were kind of getting put together. And I remember here I was just coming in with all my friends. And by the way, I love Blair. I love all those people you just mentioned. And I remember Blair was going on because Blair had left iHeart and he went over to Cumulus, the radio company. And they were like, Blair's doing a show with all these artists. And I'm like, what the crap? I showed up with my buddies and Blair's got the all-star team of Nashville country music artists. And that's what I remember thinking. And, that's when I was introduced to you, except for Stealing Cinderella, that song. That's how I was introduced to you as being a part of that show. So you worked with Blair for how long?
It would have been 3 years I was with him.
And I'm assuming that went pretty well because you ran that whole gamut with him.
Yeah, and then some. Yep, I went 3 years with him. And listen, a lot of people. Blair and I were together for 3 years, and Terry Clark lasted a long time too. But a lot of people were interwoven with that, like different other third chairs, fourth chairs, whatever you want to call them on that show. And then Blair ended up going back to after midnights, or like in that slot of like
overnights.
Midnight to overnights. And a guy named Ty came in and took his spot, and then it became the Ty Bentley show and I lasted with him for another 3 years.
And so how was that vibe different with Ty than with Blair?
It wasn't really different. Ty's a little bit younger, a little bit different style, but besides that, it was pretty much the same kind of outline.
Well, so then I see where Ty leaves or whatever happened there, and then you're running the show. And by this point, you and I had become buds. We'd see each other out. We would talk. You came when I was doing Dancing with the Stars because you had done Dancing with the Stars back in the day. You came by my trailer, and so and then you were heading the show. For how long were you heading the show, or at least you were one of the main one? Or I don't know what that was. I don't know if you consider yourself. I would consider you the main. But how long did that last?
Yes, that's interesting that you even say that because. So what had happened it was actually a few months ago, Ty had quit. He left the show. So here we are on the Ty Bentley show with no Ty. And, I saw the staff and everybody on the morning show freaking out. And I'm like, wait a minute. This is my moment. I've waited for this for 6 years. I've kind of waited in the wings because I've always wanted my own show. I'm like, no, I got it. We're going to be good. I'm going to sit at the helm. I'm going to take over. We're going to do this. And that's when, the next day, Nashville got slammed with a tornado, 6 tornadoes actually. This wiped a lot of people out, a lot of devastation. So my first week of, taking over once Ty left, we had this, natural disaster that we had to take care of, and we're all the focus is on that, not what does Chuck sound like as, the lead guy. So right after that, we run into what we're currently facing, the pandemic, and everybody having to social distance and work from home. So I got about, I think, 7 weeks at the helm, but it was never really at the helm. It was at home via Zoom.
And so in your mind, you're doing this show. I'm assuming that you've kind of taken charge as, hey, I'm going to be the leader. Follow me. We're going to do some really great things here. But you're doing it from home. Are you communicating with your bosses, or what's happening in that world? Because even for me now, it's a struggle sometimes to get a hold of my bosses because everybody's being pulled in all these different directions. What are you feeling at this time, and who are you talking with?
So it was interesting because I had to almost plead my case. I had to beg almost. I had to plead my case. Hey guys, talking to the VPs, and at the time we had a new VP that came in, so he didn't really know me. We knew of each other. And I said, you got to give me a shot. You got to give me a shot. And they kept saying, yeah, and I had to I'm talking to my agent. I'm talking to, several VPs. I'm talking to my boss within the building where I work. I'm trying to get everybody to get on the same page. Hey, Chuck's got this. So I'm thinking, all right, maybe they're going to give me a shot at this. It come to find out, they never really were. When the new VP came in, he was just like, I got my people, they're coming in. Now, looking back now, he's like, I got my people, they're coming in. They basically used me to keep the team together until they got all their ducks in a row and figured out what they wanted to do. And then, I don't know if you're going to ask me this or not, but we all ended up getting fired about 2 weeks ago, right after we did a Friday show. And honestly, man, really never saw it coming, and just kind of bummed us out. It was a tough time.
They call you in the office, and how'd that go? What happened? What'd they tell you?
So because it wasn't.
Oh, that's right, Corona. You didn't even get to go in an office.
Didn't even get to go in the office. Didn't even get a face to face, and it was just. It was one of those deals where it's like, hey, Chuck, and the minute, because I didn't really talk to the new VP that much, so the minute I got a call from him, and then the minute he goes, hey, I don't know if you met so-and-so from HR, but he's on the phone as well. And I was like, I'm getting fired. And it hit me right in the chest, man. I was just like, because you always have a gut feeling if someone's going to give you a shot, or if they're behind you, or if they get it. And I always kind of knew in my gut that they didn't get it. I wasn't going to get the shot, but it hit home, man. Like in that phone call, I was just like, I'm about to get fired. And now I'm a different guy than I was last year. Like, I'm married now. I got 3 bonus daughters, and I have people to take care of. So I was just like, holy crap. Like, what am I going to do? Like, what am I going to do?
I remember because you and I were talking even way before that, the firing happened. And even I thought it was weird that they were keeping the show name for someone who wasn't on the show anymore. I mean, that was an odd thing. And now looking back, it kind of makes sense. They're not going to rebrand it with you if they knew from the beginning it wasn't going to be you.
Right.
But you and I have been talking, and we were checking on each other because, we're both doing the same thing right across the street from each other, basically. And I remember whenever I saw it, I was like, oh, crap. Because I think you're a really talented guy. Obviously, I think you're really good at what you do. And you called, and I was like, hey, dude, give it a bit. Like, take 2 weeks. And because you're kind of on tilt a little bit. When something crazy happens to you, you're kind of on tilt where you're reacting more than you're responding. And you took the 2 weeks. And what did you kind of find out about yourself in that 2 weeks?
Well, first of all, thank you for saying that, and great advice, because the minute it did happen, the minute I got fired, I did panic, because I'm like, how am I gotta make money. I gotta take care of my family. And being in this weird spot, it was weird. I immediately started thinking about all the other people that lost their jobs and all the other people that got furloughed or whatever it was. I'm just like, wow, this sucks. And so I took the 2 weeks, and I figured out, what do I want? What do I want to do? What do I want? And I do want my own show. I do want to have my own radio show. It's just not there at that home, at that place that I was. I want people that believe in me. I want to be with the right team, and I want to do things that are great. I remember going to work, dude. I would go to work, and I was just kind of like showing up. I wasn't being challenged. I was comfortable. And we had talked about this. When you get fired, or when you get let go, or something major happens, you immediately get out of your comfort zone. And dude, I was immediately uncomfortable. So I did take the 2 weeks, and I was like, I want my own show.
And and that's what I was wondering too. If you took a little time, did you want to get back to grinding as an artist because you had success there? Did you want to really do radio? Like what? And so, you and I talk again, and you're like, hey, this is what I want to do. And I'm like, well, I think you're super talented. Nobody's hiring right now, which, by the way, as soon as they had put the announcement that you weren't working over there, I called my boss, and I was like, hey, there's a guy here that's real good, and nobody's hiring anywhere at all, right? Everybody's just hemorrhaging money at this point. And, I listen, I have said on the show before, I took a percentage pay cut just so we wouldn't have to lay people off on my show. So, everybody, and that's not a wah, wah, wah. That's, right now everybody's hurting. And so, I remember telling you, hey, nobody's hiring. Don't take that as a you thing. But if you want to, do something, and there's no announcement here now, but, I think you and I are working on something that I think you'll just thrive in. And I'm excited to hear that you want to do this for however long you want to do this,
100%. The thing that I love about, us getting together and working on a project together and making some things happen is that one thing that did not happen where I was working was they never got it. They never got the full, 360 picture of what could happen. And I look at you're doing exactly what I want to do. You got a badass show in the morning, right? I mean, listen, you kicked our butt every day, right? So, you got this badass show, but you're also making it happen outside of that. You're on American Idol. You go around and you tour in these great places, these amazing theaters, and sell them out and do your show, and you take your friends with you, and you do music, and you do all these things. And I'm like, there's a guy, and I'm not trying to blow you up right now, but you're a guy that you get it because you're doing it. So I'm excited to get started on I'm excited to get started working with you, and I'm excited to see where it goes because it's going to go more places than just one place.
Well, and this is in no means an announcement, but I'm very excited because, listen, I've been a Chuck fan for a long time. I remember at one point while you were on, you may not remember this, but while you were doing the show that, I'm not a big believer in just radio competitors because I think we're competing with everything. YouTube, we're competing with everything is you're trying to find your spot in people's consciousness. And so with me, I never look at somebody on another radio frequency and go, that being said, I remember you're on the other country station and you put out a song I thought was so good. I played it on my show while you were doing the other show as one of the main talents over there.
That's right.
So, to me, it's always about, and it always has been about, just surround yourself with the best people.
Yeah.
Encourage and give them the resources that they need, because if you surround yourself with the best people, which I've done with my show, it elevates me. I wouldn't be the talent that I am without Amy, my co-host, who's never been on the radio, or Eddie, or Lunchbox, or those guys. And I think that there's going to be that relationship with us too, because you're way better at most of the things that I do. And so I'm excited to see where you can go.
I appreciate you saying that. I mean, I don't know if it's fact or not, but I will say this. You and I together, that's some strength right there. That's something that will be hard to beat.
I do have a couple questions. And at a later time when this is finalized, if it is, and if the world gets back to normal, we'll do an official announce. But as I was kind of looking up some stuff about you, I had a couple questions that I had written down.
Okay.
Because when you talk to your friends, like when we're at an event and we're just talking with each other, I don't get to ask you questions like this because it would be weird. But in your song, Better Than Flowers, you say, quote, "But I could make love to you for hours. It's better than flowers." My question is, have you ever made love for hours? If so, how?
That's right. Okay. So, yeah, that's a great question, Bobby. I have made love for hours. Now, and the only reason why I made love for hours is because I was really drunk. And
So that's what I need to do then, kind of numb it with alcohol.
That's right.
Interesting.
I recommend whiskey if that puts it together for you.
Whenever Stealing Cinderella hit, did you play weddings with that song and make a little bit of money doing that? Because I know it was a wedding song, but did you ever go play any yourself?
Okay, yes, I did. I've been asked to play a lot of weddings, and at first, I was like, no, I don't want to do it. Until, I don't know if I should say this, there was somebody that paid me a bunch of money to sing Stealing Cinderella at their wedding. And I was like, okay, wait a minute, why? Yes, let's go do this. This maybe I'm meant to be a wedding singer. Who knows? But yeah, I played 4, maybe 5 weddings, and it's usually been around like maybe a governor's daughter is getting married, or Coach Fulmer was. That's when I knew it was a big wedding song. I didn't write it as a wedding song. I didn't write it as like a father-daughter dance. I never even thought about that. But it happens to be one of the biggest wedding songs, and it still gets played today, and it's so amazing because it's just a reminder of the power of a song, right? And you said it when we first got on. You're like, you know for this, for this song, and part of that's like, well, I got other songs too, but to be known for anything is special, and that song is special, and it's pretty cool.
Hey, I brought up Better Than Flowers, too, so don't act like I only said you were known for Stealing Cinderella. So don't twist my words.
That's true.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I never thought another man would ask me if I made love for hours, and I appreciate it coming from you.
Yeah, would you draw that for me? Like maybe a sketch with chalk? That would be cool.
Yeah, on the sidewalk.
Yeah. Let me ask this, because you did Dancing with the Stars. When you got into it, because I'd never danced a second in my life, I was the one on our show that had no training. Were you the same when it came to dance?
Same. And listen, people hated me on Dancing with the Stars because, I was very polarizing. They either loved me or hated me. They hated me. The haters hated me because I was dancing with Julianne Hough. At the time, I had been dating Julianne for 7 months at that time. So they're like, in their minds, the fans' minds that watch the show, they're like, oh, well, he's dated her for like 7 months. They probably practice all the time, see each other, they have an advantage. I'm like, please, not even close.
I can't imagine being in a relationship with someone because my partner and I, Sharna, no romance whatsoever. Loved her, respect her because there were really, really hard times because there's a lot of training, and respect her so much after that's all over. But to also have to be in a functioning romantic relationship while going through that would be near impossible.
Yeah, I actually thought it hindered our performances because we knew once, dance practice or whatever you want to call it was over, we were still going to be with each other.
Yeah.
So we didn't. I think we were not as focused because we're like, wow, we got all day. We're going to be together all day. So we would dance for like maybe a couple hours, and then that was it.
You got a couple other. Hey, by the way, where'd you finish on that show?
5th place.
Did you want to? Did you think you could win?
No, actually, no. I thought I was going to come in top 3, and all I wanted to do was make it to the finals, and I was 1 week away from making it to the finals. So I was okay with it, but also the next week, because every year is different. I think as the years went by, it got harder and harder. Like you probably started doing 2 dances per show.
First week.
First week, exactly. We didn't see. I was just responsible for 1 dance my whole entire time. If I would have made it to the following week, I would have had to learn 2 dances. So I was like semi-happy that I was like, all right, good. I don't have to learn 2 dances. I get a bye week and then I come back for the finale because everybody does. So I don't know. I was happy with it. Yes, you won. It's fine. No,
well, first, by the way, my first 2 dances was second week. But who won your season?
Sean Johnson.
Oh, wow. I mean, and I know Sean from here in Nashville. That's tough when you're up against a gymnast. It's tough. How are you supposed to compete
Not
with
fair.
that? Listen.
Not fair. Melissa Rycroft was on our season, and she was a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader. Again, not fair.
Well, I had a Disney kid, and he should have beat me as far as the dance. I mean, listen, everybody should have beat me as far as the dancing. I just went like this. And, you came to an episode. You sat right in the front row. I knew I wasn't the best dancer. I trained as hard as I could to get me to the highest dance point that I could get, period. But then, while everybody else is playing checkers, I'm playing chess going, it's 50% 2 things. I'm going to win the audience vote by 5 times more than everybody else by not only the antics, but the vulnerability of my story, by talking with the judges. That's what won it for me. So while everyone's going, we got to kill ourselves and get 8s and 9s, I'm like, I'm going to get my 7s and 8s. But I'm going to go out and win the freaking spirit stick every week like this is 9th grade, baby.
100%. You know the game, bro. You were our season, our version of you for our season was Steve Wozniak.
Oh, yeah.
The co-founder of Apple. He won everybody's hearts, man. He was the funniest guy out there and did not care. But you were a better dancer on top of that. So you had it in spades.
Well, I did get a lot of hate. A lot of the hardcore Dancing with the Stars, through and throughs, really dislike me. But I found through my career, in order to really pop with some folks, you got to really not. Because what's making you so lovable to a certain amount of people, it should also make you unlovable to others because it's a very distinct flavor. I didn't know that. I didn't know the whole story about your season. It's a great show. I'm happy I did it. You? Are you happy you did it?
100%.
Yeah, me too.
One of the best experiences I've had.
Me too. I have one other thing that I found about you. It says Chuck Wicks quit college 2 classes short of graduation. What the? Why would you not finish?
What an idiot, right? Here's a funny story, and I don't think I've ever told this story actually. So I'm in college. I tell my parents, I'm like, hey, I'm going to drop out of college to go become a singer. They look at me, Bobby, and go, hold up, you can sing? They had no idea, because I would sing around the house, but I wasn't in plays, I wasn't in chorus, I wasn't in, I didn't sing in church, I didn't do any of that. And they go, well, sing for us. I go, right now? I'm 19 years old, I've never really sang in front of my parents. They made me get up in front of them in the living room. My mom and dad are staring at me. I go, I don't know what to sing. They're like, sing anything. I sang the national anthem.
Did they stand up, put their hand over their heart like they should have?
No, they looked at me like I had 5 heads, and they go, not bad. They go, not bad.
So then you pieced out. You going to go back and finish that ever? Can you get it through correspondence or virtual, or I don't know what they're doing now?
I looked into it actually like 9 years ago. I was like in the middle of touring, and I was just like, I'm gonna see if I can get my degree just to make my parents happy. I called, and because so much time had passed since I've been to school, the whole curriculum changed. So instead of 2 classes now, I actually have a full half semester I need to finish.
So what is that, like a half semester or full semester? What do you need, like 12, 8, 9
like
hours?
16 credits or something like that.
All right, here are our goals. This is what I like. I like setting goals. Our goals here are, and by our, I mean yours. All right, I got a few things here. One, we're going to get something really cool, and we're going to work on it and hopefully get that thing rolling. That's one. Two, this is a longer-term goal. You're going to do a full Ironman at some point in the next few years. 3, you're going to make your parents happy and figure out how to get that 12 hours or whatever virtually. And then 4, we're going to figure out once we get this podcast or show or whatever we're going to do popping, and I get back on there, we're just going to go tour together some too. We're just going to go out, and it'll be the music and comedy variety show. All these are great ideas that we can definitely do.
All doable ideas and all ideas that we can crush.
Especially you going back to school, because I think kids everywhere would love to see Uncle Chuck go back to school and get his degree. That's all. I'll leave it there. It may take a while, but I'll leave that there. Well, listen, man, I'm super excited to talk with you on a big stage, and I'm anxious to see what's happening with you, and hopefully we'll come back soon, you and I, and have a little something to talk about with people that they can check out. And listen, I think you're a real talent, and I hated to see you be let go over there, but man, some of the best things happen when adversity hits. You kind of find out who you are and what you really want. So I think we're going to see that with you, my friend.
100%. I appreciate you, man, and everything happens for a reason, and here we are.
All right, Chuck. Have a good time at the beach. Tell everybody I said hello. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, peace out.
All right, see you, dude. Hey, guys, it's Bobby Bones. Welcome to the channel. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and then go check it out. A lot of artists, a lot of songwriters, a lot of music. Welcome to the Bobbycast channel.